Yo, what up? Hey, Matt Stone here talking about wilderness, specifically National Forest wilderness. That's where we're going to be spending most of our time this summer when we're out backpacking 1 to 2 weeks at a time. And I'll talk about why that is, what's so special about it, and all that stuff in today's video. First of all, a lot of people don't know about wilderness. Even people who live in areas that have wilderness nearby. Wilderness is a very special land designation. There was a Wilderness Act passed by Congress in 1964, and that act uh, forbids any kind of motorized equipment, any kind of roads, any kind of livestock, unless grandfathered in before 1964. Just maintains land in its most primitive state and is not developed in any way. And on top of that, you can't even have motorized equipment of any kind. You can't fly a drone in there. That's completely illegal. You'll never see drone footage. If you do, the Forest Service will come after you, whoever the agency is who's in charge of managing that wilderness. So that's how much they protect the wilderness experience with this Wilderness Act. And the areas of land out there are really special, and you don't hear about them. Everybody's heard of all the national parks. The first thing even my mom asked me when I was telling her I was going to go out and do this, and I was a wilderness ranger for 7 summers, and she was thinking like, "Oh, you guys should go to the national parks." so, yeah, national parks not as good of a place to go backpacking and have this kind of primitive experience. National parks are like it's kind of like a nature theme park. It's not necessarily a good place to go and do what we're doing. Some places are great, but it's still regulated really highly. You got to have an itinerary and all kinds of stuff that doesn't totally jive with the spirit of how we do it when we go out there. So anyway, I'm at wilderness.net, and I'll pop up the interactive map here and we'll start talking. Um, so, wilderness areas, there's something like 50-ish million acres in the lower 48. It says total acreage in view is 52 million, and about the same in Alaska. So half in the lower 48, half in Alaska. Obviously, Alaska just has a massive amount of wilderness. But the national forest wilderness areas in particular on this map are the green areas. Why national forest wilderness? I mean, there's plenty of land that's in wilderness that's Bureau of Land Management, this yellow stuff. The purple is wilderness that's inside of national parks. What's so special about the green? The green, first of all, like I said, it's not part of kind of a nature theme park that attracts a lot of tourists and can be kind of overrun and overregulated. This national forest wilderness, first of all, you're in the forest. Where there's forest, there's usually a ton of water sources. We're carrying over 30 pounds of electronic equipment to like stay connected and operate the businesses from the middle of nowhere out in the wilderness. And, we just can't carry water in addition to that. I don't know how the hell we're going to carry even that. There's a huge ultralight fad in backpacking where people are carrying these really, really small amounts. But for what we're doing it long term, months at a time, and trying to like live fully functional life out there, there's just no way. There's no way that we can go super light and then you add 35 pounds to that, going out 7 to 14 days at a time, and then, compound it even more by the fact that we're all not in very good shape for it. But hopefully we'll get that figured out as the summer goes on. But if you look, there's just these tiny little dots out here. Sorry, this website's awfully squirrely. One little flick of a button and it way over zooms in and out. But this is like on the East Coast here, up in New Hampshire and, White Mountains and stuff like that. You can see some small wilderness areas, but going out for a week or two at a time, I find just as a general rule, if you want to go out to a wilderness area and you want to see all the different valleys and mountains and lakes and just thoroughly go out and check out the area, which is how we like to do it, which is the exact opposite of people who just pass through, who are, quote, through hiking, who maybe are hiking the Appalachian Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, Pacific Crest Trail. This is more like going to one area and just going and just seeing it thoroughly. I think of it as thorough hiking versus through hiking, and that's how we like to do it. As you can see, if you're looking just at these, if you're hiking the Continental Divide Trail, the vast majority of that hike is not in wilderness. So you might be out where there's a ton of cattle. You might be in areas, you might go 50, 100 miles without water. Be out in some deserty area. You might be crossing highways. It's not at all what the kind of thing that we like to do. We like to go to the best areas and spend a lot of time only in those best areas. And I think it's a better way to do it. You don't get to put a notch on your belt and tell the whole world that you were a through hiker and hiked all the way across the country. But I think in the true spirit of going out in the wilderness and enjoying it, that kind of like notch on your belt mentality is definitely incongruent with that, I would say. But, to be fair, going out there with computer equipment and a Starlink is definitely incongruent with the wilderness ethic as well. I suspect that it will actually be banned at some point if too many people like us go out with the Starlink and are trying to basically kind of like be remote workers, really, really remote workers, that they will ban that as well. We'll see. But I look at this time right now where it's not banned yet as a great window of opportunity to go out and do stuff that we just wouldn't be able to do otherwise. We'd have to go out for a week or two and then come back, and that would be it. We can't permanently just not work. Obviously, everyone understands understands that. So, what's really cool, the first protected area that was like the first wilderness back before the Wilderness Act of 1964 was the Gila Wilderness and the Aldo Leopold. It used to be just one continuous area, but now the Aldo Leopold was renamed after the naturalist dude who fought for this area to be protected as a wilderness. So pretty cool. I think that was June 3rd, 1924, and the 100-year anniversary is coming up, and we intend on being out here during that time. So we're going to be celebrating the 100-year anniversary of wilderness. We're super excited about that. But this is the biggest in New Mexico, this area here. It's a great place to go when it's not quite yet summer, because it shouldn't be too snowy here. We should be able to get everywhere we want to go. But yet it's still high up enough elevation to where there's streams and springs and places to get water, so we don't have to carry water. So that's just one example. If we come over here, you can see there's just hundreds and hundreds of wilderness areas, and I've got them listed here and organized by how many acres they are. Oh, I was going to say, to go out and thorough hike, like we like to do, I would say as a general rule, you need about a day per 10,000 acres. So like a 100,000 acre wilderness would be good for a 10-day trip, 200,000 acres, a 20-day trip, and so on. And so, yeah, I mean, these big National Park Service wilderness areas in Alaska are the biggest by far. 9 million acres, 8 million acres, 7 million acres. Just vast, vast expanses of wilderness. Death Valley, which is not a Forest Service wilderness either. It's a Park Service. Huge wilderness, but, obviously that's not a place you go out for a long time. Very hot, no shade, no water. Not what we're looking for at all. If you want to look at lower 48, largest wilderness that's in the National Forest is the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness. We'll go back over the map and look at that later. But I just want you to take a look at, just generally what this looks like. So I was a wilderness ranger. We'll come back over the map real quick. I was a wilderness ranger for 7 summers in Colorado, and no certain one of these wilderness areas here is huge, but together it makes for a really good backpacking region where you can spend a lot of time in all these different wilderness areas. But I was a wilderness ranger, and we had 5 different wildernesses that we were in charge of, cutting trees off the trail that have fallen over the trail, and, going through all the campsites and things like that, and also, especially in the later summer, going to busy places and make sure everyone was behaving. But there's the Raggeds, Maroon Bells, Snowmass Wilderness, Hunter Frying Pan, Holy Cross, Collegiate Peaks. Not too far south of there, near Crested Butte, is the West Elk Wilderness. I've never been there. So even, and the Eagle Nest is over here by Vail, not too far away. I've never been there. So even though I know this area so well, I mean, even just these wilderness areas, just a short drive away, I've never even set foot in. So even in the state where I know so well, there's still so many different wilderness areas that I don't know. You know, in particular, the flat tops. I've done a couple trips in the flat tops, but that's another area that we're hoping to hit pretty early in the season. The peaks aren't quite as high, and this is another kind of intriguing point here is that Trappers Lake, which is in the middle of the flat tops there, was another one of the first wilderness areas, one of the first fully protected areas of world history, not just American history. Arthur Carhart was sent out there to do some land surveying for some kind of construction project or some kind of development, and he came back saying, dude, no way. We shouldn't develop this at all. This area is too spectacular. So another piece of like wilderness lore exists up in there. And so we're excited to go there too. But I wanted to show you just these wilderness areas here, like the Maroon Bell Snowmass Wilderness is an area where it's really busy on one half. It's one of the most well-known wilderness areas and where I was a ranger. But like there's a half of it that's just completely wild, and you can still go out for days and not see anybody. So even in one of the busiest wilderness areas, half the wilderness is really quiet, and you still find lots of solitude out there. And I just wanted to show you on the list of wilderness areas, it's about 180,000 acres. So we can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll for, so far. And it takes forever just to get down to the Maroon Bell Snowmass Wilderness. So at 180,000 acres, like I've looked through like basically the longest trip you could do, and I think you could spend several weeks out here easy. That gives you some idea. I think this is 90th on the list in size. So, and I would say for a proper trip, you're looking at anything over 50,000 acres. So all these wilderness areas, over 50,000 acres, and again, a lot of these wilderness areas are very close to other wilderness areas. So just because they're kind of small doesn't mean they're not part of a bigger, kind of chain of wilderness areas. But, there's just a ton of wilderness areas to go and explore. And it's almost like a lifetime worth, especially if you include Alaska in terms of all the places that you can go and do what we're doing. Go thorough hiking, So anyway, back to the map. It's just a really exciting place to go and do things. I would say Colorado is obviously one of the best places to go backpacking and do this kind of thing. The Gila and Alto Leopold, New Mexico is definitely a great spot, especially early season. Sorry, this thing just keeps zooming hard on me. Okay, this should be pretty good. This is a pretty decent spot. And here in Utah, that's a pretty good wilderness area. Now, the biggest trip I've ever done where I kind of employed this style of hiking is what's considered to be one of the best, another one of the best places to go backpacking, which is the Wind River Range. So the Wind River Range doesn't have any huge wilderness areas, but it's several put together. These three wildernesses put together, and then this portion over here is managed by the Wind River Indian Reservation, and it's not managed completely like wilderness, but it's pretty close. And so all this put together is well over 1 million acres, and I spent 44 days out there, and I still didn't even come close to seeing all the stuff that's out there that I wanted to see. So, and I was a dumbass and didn't bring enough food, only 1,600 calories a day, and I ate a lot of trout, 100 trout, still not enough to supplement a 16-calorie diet. I was in my mid-20s at the time, so I came out of here looking pretty gaunt. and all vertebrae showing, and that was kind of a bad experience that almost ruined this. So I'm excited to do it right this time and have plenty of food, and I'm already thinking about all the different ways that I can make bread and jerky and how many days I can eat steak before it goes bad and whatnot when we go out there this time. But this is a fantastic place. It's incredible. There's like over 1,000 lakes in here, streams, some of the best backcountry fishing in the country and probably the world, and just a amazing area. And it's pretty free of grizzly bears too, unlike up here. But then we get into the greater Yellowstone area. You have the Grovant Wilderness, which is another 250,000 acres or so. Teton Wilderness is another like 5 or 600,000. This one here is also pretty big. You got the North Absaroka Wilderness up here, and then that goes straight into the Absaroka-Beartooth Wilderness, which goes clear up to Livingston, near Bozeman, all the way up in Montana. And this big chunk here is Yellowstone, which is not wilderness, nature theme park, but there's still a lot of really great remote areas. So this area here is just multiple summers of great backpacking for somebody who would like to go and really have like a great experience. So if we do this summer and we really have a good time, we're going to be staying mostly in Colorado. We won't even come close to seeing all the stuff that we'd like to see in one summer. But another great place is the Bob Marshall Wilderness, and there's some other wildernesses you can see or can join there. That comprises over 1 million acres. Great place to go backpacking. Another really great place here, you've got the Frank Church, which I showed you earlier, the largest national forest wilderness in the lower 48, and it's conjoined with the Selway Bitterroot, which is over 1 million acres. So this area here comprises nearly 4 million acres. It's so big that they actually did wolf reintroduction here in the 90s when they reintroduced wolves up in Yellowstone. They did the reintroduction in 2 spots. This was the other. And just huge, massive, wild area. It's incredible that an area this big is complete wilderness inside of the lower 48. I mean, just amazing. So I've got so much more exploring to do around there. I've done maybe like 11-day trip or something there once, and that was it. This area over here in Washington is just amazing. I've got this is another just incredible area. I mean, you could spend a whole summer just in this area, and this is the Cascades here inside the national park. Then you got all these big national forest wilderness areas surrounding it, so that's just an incredible place. There's small wildernesses everywhere and other great places to go just on a backpacking trip. I'm just talking about places where you could go out for months. And, I'd say the last like really great place in the lower 48 where you could just go spend months and just have your mind blown every day and be inside of really cool wilderness areas is definitely this corridor in the Sierra Nevada. You got some national parks there in Yosemite and Sequoia, Kings Canyon, but you have this huge wildernesses, the Muir Wilderness and the Ansel Adams Wilderness and the Golden Trout Wilderness and all this stuff surrounding it. So this corridor here is just an incredible playground to go out and have these really neat experiences, and goes all the way up into here and isn't too far getting to Desolation, which I've been to many times as well. So anyway, that's just kind of the overview of what wilderness is, what it's all about, where it's located, what we're doing, and where we're going. And I hope to. I'm not looking to check all these boxes off. There's no way you could do them all, but I'm just filled with intrigue about everything that's out here, and hope to get out and check them out someday. But starting with what we know mostly, and branching off from there. We're going to try to do some other wilderness areas that I've really had on my list for a long time to go check out, but haven't, such as Mount Zirkle Wilderness here, which is up kind of near Steamboat. I really want to go check out Eagle's Nest, which I heard is just really cool, and West Elk for sure, and then down here in the South San Juan Wilderness. This is supposed to be really, really great. Down kind of by the Wolf Creek ski area, and down there. But anyway, that's kind of the plan. That's where we're going, what we're doing, and kind of what we're all about. And it's going to be really cool. I cannot wait to take you guys out there with us. I'll be filming, I'm sure, every day. My wife Andy is going to be having her own separate channel where she's putting out a ton of content, just kind of showing our lifestyle. And yeah, it's going to be really great. And we'll be connected too. So, we'll still be able to upload those videos and stuff while we're out. And it's going to be really cool. But if you have any questions about wilderness, me being a wilderness nerd and being a wilderness ranger for a long time and kind of knowing a lot about the history of the wilderness, not a ton. I'm no scholar about the subject at all, but I'm happy to answer those. But yeah, it's really cool, and let me know what you think, where you've been, where you want to go, and stuff like that.